calls us up on the radio. Oh, this thing, this one bolt is just loose a little bit, just tighten it up, and then we're out in the workshop like 20 k's away, and all that just to do a little bit of a bolt,
But it depends what that bolt...
But hey, safety comes first.
That's all I'm going to say. As an operator, it depends what that bolt is holding.
Absolutely.
Over the years, I've had that many bloody issues with my mirrors. And you try backing in under a digger in a tight drop cut, night shift, into the lights, get in the right spot, or you're going to get the shit or hit by the digger. A bit of a love tap with the bucket, which means move over, you're in the wrong spot. But if the bracket is coming off and the bloody boilermakers won't come out and fix it, or the workshop won't let the boilermakers come out and fix it, the mirror's wobbling and you can't even see, and it's 3 o'clock in the morning, like, I'm parking up till I get this mirror fixed. Yeah, it's only one bolt on the fucking mirror. Yeah, but I'm going to have an incident down in that. Welcome to the Beers with a Miner podcast. My name is Mad Mumzie, and I've been driving the huge dump trucks in Australian open cut mines for over 10 years now. I wish I had $1 for everyone who said to me, "How does a little thing like you drive those big trucks? You must be rich. How do I get a job doing that?" My mining friends are asked these questions all the time too. This is what started the Mad Mumzie journey to share stories and tips from living a mining lifestyle and to let others know what it's really like. Tune in each episode as I sit down for a relaxed chat, usually over a few beers, with a fellow miner. Women and blokes with various experience, roles and opinions share their lessons and stories with you. Not everyone is cut out to be a miner, but why not? What does it take to thrive and survive in this industry? Now, let's dig in. Get it? Dig. Mining. Crack me up. In this happy hour episode, we are hanging out with a guy named Terry, who reached out to me over Instagram. He goes by the name of FIFO Inspo and has lots of great videos, mostly on Instagram. But as I was just poking around a little bit before the show, I noticed he also has a YouTube channel under the same name, FIFO Inspo. And the videos are mostly from his donga while he's working away in the Pilbara in WA, living the FIFO dream. His videos are down to earth and he's sharing his thoughts with all of us on living this FIFO lifestyle. Welcome to the podcast, Terry.
Thank you for having me, first of all. I try to be on this bloody podcast for a while. But looking forward to it,
Yeah, it's a matter of lining everything up and stuff, and here we are. We've finally got there, so that's really good. Are you ready to dig in? Get it? Dig. Yeah, mining. He's laughing. I got video, you haven't. So, as this podcast is called the Beers with a Miner podcast, I like to start these happy hour episodes with my guests sharing their favourite beverage and also their favourite time to enjoy it. It could be a beer, wine, spirit, or perhaps even a cup of tea. What is yours, Terry?
Basically a water, but I hardly drink, so I only drink on special occasions, weddings or something like that. I'll usually just drink one or two of a bottle of Corona or something like that. So, yeah.
Good on you. As I'm always battling trying to drink less. So when I come across people who don't drink hardly at all, I think, that'll be me one day, or it could be. So did you used to drink a lot and now you don't? Or did you used to, you just always haven't? Or, I mean, only if you want to share that, that's up to you.
Yeah, no, definitely. I've been, drinking, let's go back in history where I actually come from. I spent most of my time over in Sydney, and being a young boy, you've got so many opportunities in regards to going out clubbing and stuff and whatnot. So you've got Bondi on this side, you've got Cronulla on this side, you've got Parramatta on this other side, and then you're always busy, So I could say I was a little bit wild on the positive side in regards to drinking, Used to basically, spend all my apprenticeship money and all that kind of stuff, and just on booze, and hence the reason why I sort of got shaken up in regards to my wife saying, you better cool it down. So, sort of shook me up up a bit, but and then it just took it easy from during the years, So, and then I'm still young, 33, but uh, just starting to notice that, sort of fiction, the effects. But anyway, that's my version anyway. So.
Oh, good on you.
Yeah.
It takes a lot to realise that. I've known someone close to me who gave up drinking when they were 17.
Yep.
Did end up starting again later, but because they just started so young and just got hammered.
Yep.
And then was like, oh, I'm not doing that anymore, And then now is just a social drinker, I guess.
Yeah, no, nothing wrong with it or anything like that,
Yeah, that's
nothing
it.
Wrong.
But it's good to
each to themselves, really.
Yeah, totally. So good on you, and I bet your wife's very happy with those decisions that you made.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Beautiful. Now, living in Sydney, I have to ask you, who's your favourite football team?
It's the Bunnies.
The Bunnies. That's
South Sydney
Rabbitohs. Oh, you'd be happy then. They're a lot better than they used to be.
Absolutely. Even though I was in the heart of Bankstown, a little place called Lidcombe, but I've always just been fantasized about, all the old Greek Englishes to the et cetera, et cetera. So yeah.
And did you ever get into AFL at all? You're over in WA now. That's a big AFL country over there, state. Well, they like their own country.
That's a big question.
It is a big one. I asked the big questions on Beers with a Miner podcast here, Terry.
And to be honest, I guess when you go back in history, once you start a code, you live by the code, and then it's sort of hard trying to transition. Yeah, as a youngster trying to go. I mean, once again, there's no nothing wrong about it, but I've sort of got brought up in an environment where it was rugby union and rugby league, so it was that's my version, and I'm really passionate about them two codes. So I still don't fully understand how AFL works, but anyway, that's another lesson in itself. We're all learning.
That was my next question. Can you even understand it? Which is what a lot of people say. Do you find living over there and working over there that you get pressured by people to follow? You got to follow the Dockers or the Swans, or are they all right over there?
Oh yeah, definitely get it. Because obviously Western Australia is born and bred in the AFL, and the main priorities are in the mine sites where they're really passionate about it and stuff. But you just got to go with the flow, and just try and pay attention, really. Anyway, other than that, yeah.
And like you said earlier, each to their own. You don't have to like AFL, and they don't have to like rugby league, but we do have to all work together and get on. That's the important part, which is the sort of thing that I think we're going to delve into as we go further into the podcast. First of all, let's start off with, how did you end up from inner city heart of Rabbitohs country in Sydney to now living in Perth, living a FIFO life? And what is it that you do?
Okay. Yeah, no, that's a really great question. Anyway, back in 2000, when did I graduate high school? I think 2005. I graduated high school over there. I did all my teenage schools and all that kind of. Prior to that, I came over when I was young in 2000, and I obviously met my wife in 2001. Been with her for zillions of years. I don't know what it was, 20 years. Anyway, coming to 2003, 4, 2005. Sorry, I graduated school. 2005, I actually started my apprenticeship. So these were the days. Anyway, long story short, my father, because I was sort of trying to, I didn't know where to go, to be honest. And my father gave me two options. What do you want to do, son? What do you want to do? Do you want to go rugby league or rugby union, or do you want to do an apprenticeship? And then he basically said, okay, this is my ultimatum now. You turn around and you bend over. And so I bent over and boom, there was a right, his boot, touched me on bottom, and I had to do an apprenticeship. So that's true story, And he said, son, you got to do an apprenticeship regardless what you're doing, because, there's not many people doing it. And I trust me from my experience. And then, 4 years later, I did my apprenticeship. Very happy, very thankful. I really appreciate it, because if I didn't do an apprenticeship, I wouldn't have got massive opportunities. Anyway, to answer your question, after my apprenticeship, my wife's uncle, he was in the mines, and his son was a superintendent, and I was working for Downer in Port Hedland there. And anyway, I obviously, chatting away, and then he said, what do you do for a living, Terry? And I said, I'm a boilermaker, And and that was basically the opportunity, and I took it not with one hand, with both hands, And then it was just like that, just with the flow. I went in 2012, 2013, sorry. I flew over here, and then been over here ever since. And that's basically my.
What a great kick up the arse that was from Dad. See, parents know, don't they? They know these things, but whether the kids actually, you can't make people be what you think they should be either. But some people can. So I'm glad that you are, what am I trying to say? That you appreciate his kick up the arse to make you get the apprenticeship, because now you look back and say, that was the right thing to do. So apprentice boilermaker, so welding and all
that. Yep. Boiler, welder. And then as you go through the motions, you sort of get tickets like, scaffolding, rigging, all that kind of stuff. So, but it's irrelevant, I keep telling everyone, without that ticket, you're nothing. You can't do anything else. But that's what my dad always kept repeating to me, during my apprenticeship years. Son, without that ticket, no fella can take that ticket away from you, That's so precious, because you can always do anything else, laboring, whatever, as I said, But you always have that ticket to, fall back on. So, and that's true, because I did, prior to that, I think it was 2010, 2012, I did laboring. I was on construction sites, and just to get out of the trade just a little bit, and then just basically, I'll say just live life, as live life for experiences, more or less to say. So, and then once I got those opportunities, and then I, as I said, took it with both hands and never looked back,
So, are you a boilermaker in construction, or are you on a mine site in one of the workshops, or?
So basically I'm a casual. I work for a company called Mader Group. Basically, travel around. Could be labor hire or anything like that, you could be on rosters, or a few days here, a few days there, but it's mostly rosters, it could be on 2-on-1s, 3-on-1s, 4-on-1s, you name it. And all my career, boilermaking, always, never, you never had out of a job. I guarantee you that, you're always busy, as I said to you before, because once you pick up those experiences, bang, you're just basically the, pinnacle of, as I said, tradesmen are always busy continuously. The three pillars, which is obviously, you could a sparky, boilie, or a fitter.
Yeah.
Those three, in my eyes, you're always continuously busy. I personally can't see those trades dying in my whole entire life. So unless, you can get a robot and a shovel trying to get in there with a nut, it's pretty difficult trying to, if you know what I'm saying.
I totally
So
do,
you're always
because
continuously busy.
yeah, I have watched those fitters do that when I'm in the water cart and they've got my hose and I've got to keep my foot flat on the water cart, and I've got to watch where that fitter goes so I can stop when they want me to stop or keep going. And the places they go and the height that they have to go to even get up there, and they're filthy dirty and they're crawling around and half, you know, a lot of times, not always, but, you know, they seem to be having fun. Like, fuck that. Why would you want to do that? It's 40-degree heat and you're inside the guts of a machine hosing off hydraulic fluid because it blew a hose or grease. The things come off and I'm like, no, I'll just sit here in my water cart with the radio on and the air conditioner. Thank you. And can you wind it up and wind that hose up for me so I don't have to get down in the mud that you just made in the big puddle? But my funnest part when it comes to that is when they are trying to direct you when you've got the cannon and they want you to hose off the tracks, especially, or the big filters, the big bits on the side, and they want to just especially if it's going to go in for a servicing. So, and they're pointing where they want it. And some of the controls for the cannons in some water carts I've been on are that, like, touchy. So you just move it a little bit and it goes flying over that way and they're pointing where they want it. I'm like, yeah, mate, I know. I'm just trying to get it there. Down a bit, up a bit. Oh my God.
It is a bit tricky.
So you would get hot and dirty doing all that then?
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely, with a mask on and stuff. So
the mask, luckily we add flows and stuff, which is a little breathing apparatus, and but I've got to mention the flies, flies to the heat. Oh man, it's nasty out there, you know, but what can I say? It is pretty hectic out there.
The flies, do they get in under your mask?
Yeah, under your mask, and if you're under your mask, and not only that, when you're on night shift, these like crickets and all that kind of stuff as well, or other different
moths,
other different creatures out there, moths and you name it, you know what I mean? But
those moths are always trying to fly in your ears and your mouth and your eyes. We had a guy, I've shared this on the podcast before. We had a guy at one site, this one band camp, and he had to go to hospital because they couldn't get the moth out of his ear. Like, it flew in, and we were joking, like, oh no, we need earplugs at the crib, blah, blah, blah. And like, that was the night it happened. We should have. Because sometimes the weather, whatever it is perfect time for them just to pop out of wherever the hell they've been hiding in the ground. Like, all the weather conditions, and then there's millions of them. Hey, they just come from everywhere. And
absolutely.
And then the birds love it. We used to have lots of kookaburras, and they'd be feasting fat kookaburras by morning. they were cool. I remember I was at a mine site in northwest of Queensland, and when I first got up there, they said to me, you see all the flies on that guy's back? Because we were all walking, and there was like thousands on his back. And he said, don't think he's filthy because you got just as many on your back. And up here, and I can remember having to, we used to hot seat trucks a lot there, and they had these, what do they call them? I think it was called a cattle ramp. So you'd pull your truck up and there'd be this little crib hut, and you'd walk across this ramp, and I'd scared of heights. I forgot about this, and I didn't like it. And that operator would get out and you'd get in, and then you'd just drive off. So you didn't even have to go down and then up, and just walk straight across to the deck of the truck. But you had to really park in the right spot. And there were a few that got taken out, you know, because people got in the wrong spot. So I don't wonder if they're still there or not, or if they decided that was a stupid idea, make them walk up and down.
Yeah.
and you'd try and get in your truck and quickly shut the door before the flies came in, or you brush yourself off before you. And we had a folder with all our paperwork on it. And for the first hour of being in your truck, you're just smashing flies up against the windscreen. Like, oh yeah, that's right. I'm driving my truck, but there's a fly. I gotta get it. Yeah.
Unreal.
So what sort of temperatures do you get up there where you are in the Pilbara?
Oh, roughly about right now as we speak. Well, it all depends on if you're inland or on the coast. You know, if you're in like Port Hedland, for example, or Karratha, pretty well known places there. And it's just humid. It really is humid, eh? Like I come from a place called Sino. It was like it was horrific. Flies, muggy, sweaty all day. From literally 7 o'clock in the morning to 5 o'clock at night, you're basically drenched. So that's really sums it up, eh? You know, and once again, hydration. You got to keep that hydration up, eh? You know, otherwise you could get in strife. To be honest, in regards to heat stroke or heat stress or you name it. So. There's always adequate shade or drink breaks.
Well, that's right. There should be, and if there's not, go and find the powers that be and make that happen, because there should be. There should be enough fluids around for you. There should be somewhere to get out of the sun to have that break. Because I've seen people go down like a bag of shit because of that. You know, if you're not feeling well, or if someone doesn't look right, how you going, mate? You know, you need to go and sit down. Your crib time might not be for another hour, but who cares if you're going to end up in the ambulance with dehydration? You know, what is the word? There's a better word than that for that. The next level of dehydration? You're fucked. No. You need more water. Hang on.
That's a good one.
That's right. I'll just have a hydration break right now, Terry.
All good.
You can have a drink now if you want. I told him off before because there's too much noise with his water bottle. Now for a word from our sponsor, Julia Hartman and the Bantax Accounting Group. Julia's my awesome accountant. She's written 2 books with financial expert Noel Whittaker, and she's got a passion to help us miners make the most out of our hard-earned cash. She's got heaps of tips and make sure that we get every cent we are meant to get, and is right on the ball with everything. If you head to bantax.com.au/miners, that's BANTACS, you can download a free booklet, all just for us miners. And there's also a spreadsheet in there that helps you check off what tools you have for your trade, like your isolation lock, work boots, 7 shirts, all of these sorts of things. And you can weigh them up and it'll tell you if you qualify weight-wise to claim your trips out to work. And that's just one of the things that they've got over there. So I strongly urge you to head to bantax.com.au/miners and see what they can do, and find your nearest office as we come up to tax time. They're really on the ball, know what's going on with the tax department, and there's heaps of other free information like property investing. If you really plan on doing some great things with your money, you want to do that, right? If you want to sell your house, can save a lot of money if you find out what to do first rather than in hindsight. And Julia, she'll, make sure you get it right. And if you do it wrong and then go and see her, she'll up you in the nicest possible way, because she really cares about us and wants us to keep our money and not give it to the tax department. Anyway, head over to bantax.com.au/miners and tell them Mad Mumzie sent you.
But anyway, with these big companies, they usually just on hydration, they usually give you like all these like ice packs, and you've got everything there. You've got, first of all, ice, gallons of water. What else is those electrolytes kind of things? They're like, I don't know what the terminology is. Yeah, hydrolytes and all that kind of stuff. So,
and
those I really get into them.
Yeah, and those cordial bottles
cordial bottles.
That are like, it's just cordial, but then when you see how much they are at the safety shop, they're like $50 a bottle of cordial. I'm like, oh, there's some heavy shit in that cordial. You can see why people pinch them and take them home. Oh, yeah. Well, I watched one of your videos that you did recently in your donga. There was about hydration, and because I've got a whole episode about how bloody hot is it or something, and same thing, you know, like, and I recorded that in my donga after seeing the fitters out working, and they just kept going and going, and that was one of them that ended up crook.
Wow.
And he was an apprentice, and he didn't speak up, and people weren't looking after him, and they were trying to get the digger fixed before crib or before the blast, or like they were under a lot of time pressure. And I was sitting there in the water cart again, and I ended up going down and saying, "You guys right? You shouldn't still be. Oh yeah, no, we're right. We're tough." I'm like, "Fucking, you might look tough, but old mate isn't looking real flash there." And they ended up getting him to go and sit in the light vehicle with the car running with their aircon on, because, you know, they have their fitter utes. I went back to my donga and had a bit of a rant and ended up releasing that eventually. And I tend to reshare that most summers, because it's the same thing. So when I saw you doing that, I'm like, yeah, right on, FIFO, Inspo. That's the go. I didn't know your name was Terry then. So
just tell it as it is, eh?
Yeah, and it's really good to come home to your donga, and share what it is that you feel like talking about that is helping people. So we'll get to why you started that soon, but just back to when you first started out in the mines, on doing the FIFO and moving to WA, and, you know, like, that's a big change for you and your wife. Do you have family as well? Do you have kids?
No kids, just as we speak.
Yep.
I did it the proper way, to be honest, not the Māori way. We have 10 kids first, and then you have then you try and get a job, and, you know, a house, and so I've did it the opposite way, you know. So
and I'm sure it's not all Maoris that have done it that way, but yeah.
Truth be told, so I got married. So I got married in Hawaii, did all that kind of stuff, bucks, hens in Las Vegas, and just recently bought my house about 2 years ago, and now I'm just basically trying to start a family now, you know, so that's what life's about, really.
It is. You got it all going on.
Yards and now.
Yeah.
Absolutely, you know.
Yeah. No, that's good. So when you first started, what were your biggest challenges that you found, like, back in those early days?
Now, back in those early days, let me talk goal settings. Let me talk goals, because that's the main priority why I actually did this, you know. Anyway, when I got that call to come over here, I've always wanted a house, you know, and I sort of sat down with me, myself, and I, not my wife, me, myself, and I really honed in on what I actually wanted in life. And I always tell everyone, you know, first of all, if you're trying to get into the mines, forget about everything. Just concentrate on yourself and sit down and write your goals, you know, because that's really important. Especially from my experience, it's really important. I don't care who you are, you got to write your goals down, and then try and, because during the years you'll slack off, you know, you still got those goals there. My goal was to have a house and a comfortable life, you know, and you sort of lose your way, because there's massive massive temptations there, you know. You could have mate, you know, from Karratha Tavern to you name it. You'd sort of get off track, but my main purpose was to get a house, you know. And I'm glad I got a house 2 years ago, and then once again everything's just flourished from there, more opportunities, and I once again, I just sat down and said to myself, make sure you write that goal down and you succeed and you do it, because otherwise, when you get to, I don't know, maybe your age, I know
Oh,
plenty
come
of
on.
people in the
And
game.
what's that
But
about?
sorry,
180.
but yeah, it's one of those things that you got to really hone down, and I can't stress enough, and sit down by yourself with a beverage, as you said, and honing on those goals, because that's really massive, because it's all about the mindset. Mindset is a big key in the game, because I keep repeating, like, obviously the iceberg effects and all that kind of stuff. And iceberg effect meaning, people see the riches up here. They see all the, you've got a pool, you've got a house, you've got a yacht, you've got all these kind of stuff, but they don't realize, people don't realize, mate, I'm hanging around with flies and 40-degree heat with, people that I don't know, and working maybe 14, 16-hour shifts, So it's people don't see those kind of things. So sorry about ranting around about goal setting, but yeah, that's probably my biggest attribute to the FIFO industry, because and that allows you to concentrate on safety, concentrate on other things, because you're so, it's hard to explain, you're so goal orientated that you're aware of safety, you're aware of all these kind of other things, so, and you want to try and achieve nice and safety. So that's my theory anyway. So
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
That was during the years of experience as well, and then because I sort of thought outside the box in regards to, like, when I talk business minded, I sort of read like business books and all that kind of stuff, and they sort of teach me those kind of attributes, like, for example, mantras, and because talking about mantras, when you wake up, you love it, you go. I love my job, I love my job, I love my job. Those are the kind of mantras that you have to say, in order to get those goals. So anyway, yeah.
Oh my God. Okay.
Sorry about that.
Don't apologize. I love it. I love that I don't have to pull all of that gold out of you. It's just flowing. I love it. I'm really enjoying this conversation. So thank you. That's something that I talk about a lot, especially with my sister, is about knowing your why, which is like your goals. Why are you there? Why are you away from home? Why are you doing the 40-degree heat with all the flies, filthy dirty inside the digger, or and then
you have to.
And I like how you brought it back to safety as well. So, like, if you don't give a shit about safety, but you've got a goal because you're taking in the money, you that job could end tomorrow if you do the wrong thing, and or if the site isn't safe and stuff. And there goes your goal.
Safety is,
goes your goal right out the window.
Too, so.
Yeah, it's life and death, literally. And then when you spoke about the iceberg effect, well, that's exactly why I started writing and then doing the podcast, is because so many people say, and that's my intro to the podcast, oh, you must be rich. How do I get a job doing that? And that's all they want to know. They don't, how hard can it be driving? Like, with me, I was started as a dump truck operator, and how hard can it be driving dump truck up the ramp? They think the biggest challenge would be that they get bored, but there's so much to it that they don't even contemplate. They don't even think about before you even get to site, and the whole, dealing with cranky dozer drivers and, night shift and lights and flies and heat, shift work, all of that. They don't even think about that. And they just see the money and the time off and the toys, like you say, and that's where I'll just have.
And they see the free food, the free pool, the free everything, but they don't realize the other stuff. So, it's really one of those things that you gotta. Sorry.
No, that's right. Well, the good thing is we're interrupting each other to agree. We're just adding on, be from different perspectives. Like you're over in WA, I'm here in Queensland. It's really good to hear. And I'll have to say, from a bloke talking about goal setting and mantras and affirmations and reading business books, and a lot of my bloke listeners out there start thinking along these lines, and you don't have to be having a bevy either to be writing down your goals. I'm a real list head, right? So I've got books and books of stuff I was writing in my truck, or if it rained and we're parked up at the cribber. No, that's how I planned my business. That's how I learned how to be a podcaster. That's how I learned how to set up a website and all of those things. Use your time when you're out there, as part of your goals. And that's something that I really say, what else is it that you could be doing while you're there, while staying safe and it depends on your job. Like you couldn't be writing notes while you're welding, but you can be while you're sitting on the bus or while you're on the plane, when you get back to your donga, and I always talk about taking a little something to your donga that is a visual capture of what your goal is, what your why is, picture of that house or the picture of the kids or picture of your Harley or that new tattoo or the holiday you want to go on or whatever it is, because everyone's whys are different and it changes. I started in mining after, I was 39 when I started. So I was just starting life again, basically. And I was changing. So my goals kept changing. My why kept changing. Why am I doing this? Well, because I got nothing, I don't know what else to do, and it just fell in my lap, really. Because Mad Baz, who's been on the podcast, my other dad, married to my mum, who's also been on the podcast. They were both in mining. My sister's in mining. My kids were growing up. So why not? That's how I ended up there. I mean, there's a lot of people that would wish they could get in that easy these days, because it's still interesting to me. Oh, are you ready to talk about the C word? Climate change. That's the new C word. And this year it's COVID too. That's something else that I say to people as well, is how there'll be a lot of people in your world as a miner that are going to say, we shouldn't be doing this. We shouldn't be mining because look what we're doing to climate change. And yet they still, I had a lady the other day who's a real alternative, hippie, healthy, loving earth angel or something, who said, give me one of your cards. How do I get a job in the mines? I was like, okay, here you go. Like, people still, the reason I bring that up is because people still see it as the answer to solving their life, like winning lotto. But it's so much more. It's so much more than that. Yeah. So have you got any thoughts on mining and climate change that you want to touch on or not?
Not necessarily climate change, but just going back to the actual goal setting. How you said list. Now, obviously, technology is there too. You've got two ways. You've got old school, which is writing everything down, or for myself, I've got like Google and you've got their stuff, or a app called Evernote.
I got that.
You can sort of use that as well in regards to just writing everything down, from your photos, your pictures, your you name it, And then I've got sort of Google Keep and all that kind of stuff. Really helps. Same thing. But yeah, I can't express that. You got to write your goals down. And as I said, and so as you said, whenever you have an idea, even if it's the simplest idea, if you want to change the world, climate change or anything, just write the bloody thing down, before because you get lost, But anyway, that's my rant.
Yeah.
Just write everything down.
Yeah, and I love how you say about using technology, because a lot of people do now. Most sites you can't have it on you, hence writing stuff whilst in a truck waiting while I'm getting loaded. And so other people were reading, you know, I can't even think of one bad magazine, but shit magazines. And they're everywhere, and then everyone passed them around, or they'd be reading a book or whatever, but each to their own again, whereas I chose to do other things. But I too have Evernote, and I've got just about every other project management app you can think of, because I'm a bit of a techno nana as well. But that is a way, yeah, because that one idea, or that, you know, I was a great one for writing down what I'm going to do on break. So once you get over that hump day, what am I going to do on break? And the list got so long, and you know, in the end, you know, you're not going to do half of that. yeah,
that's
exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
It will always be there, and I say this to people, and I can't stress this out more. You know, documentation is the key to success. Documentation is the key to success. You know, write everything down, as you said. You know, documentation is the key to success, because you can always review it, no matter what. In 5-10 years time, you can always come back. Because on that topic, let's just say I've spoken to a lot of old school boys, and one regret they have is taking photos of everywhere they've gone. You know, and it really disturbed me. Why didn't you do it? Oh, because I was afraid to take a photo, or because I didn't have no time to do it, or because, you know,
didn't have a camera.
Them. Yeah, didn't have a camera, or it just, and it's like they've got all the stories, but I give them credit, you know?
Yes. And I love getting old fellas on here, and we go way back, and they're, you know, and when you're out there, and especially to my newbies who are listening, and you're going to get some of the old fellas out there going, the bloody trainers, they don't know shit, you know, they just pump yous out here, and then, you know, back in the day when I learned to drive a truck, they just said, there's 4 wheels, well, there's 6, you know, get in and go. That's how we learned. You're like, that doesn't happen anymore, because everyone started suing each other, and, you know, people dying, and workplace accidents, and what do you call it? Work cover and all of that. Like, there's so many.
But once again,
but
it's the learnings out of those kind of things, you know, that I really love. Like, for example, you know, back in the days, they used to work in shorts and singlets and all that kind of stuff. But, you know, hearing those kind of things are just, man.
Yep.
Tough old fellas, all right?
Well, that's right. And then you look to now we have to have high vis, it has to be long sleeve and all of that. And why? And it's because skin cancer rates are through the roof. So it's the learnings, as you say, from those fellas and women. There's a lot of, not a lot, but there was a few out there as back then. So a lot of changes come because of something that happened, especially when it comes to safety. You know, they do an investigation, and it gets frustrating though, and I've ranted about this quite a few times, so I won't go into it, but, you know, let's have another inquiry into, mining deaths, FIFO suicide, gas underground, you know, and that was one of my rants recently. And they're having the same conversations that they had 4 years ago when I did a podcast about it. The same outcomes came from that inquiry we just finished than the inquiry they had 4 years ago. Well, just fucking do it. Make people do it, man. Wow. You know, it's the same. Right. Anyway, that's a rant. That was a big time.
Yeah.
So
just on that topic. Go. For myself, my greatest learning because I was in the industry was when I first started. Anyway, I had a massive incident there.
Oh.
Now, first and last time. Anyway, because this was a massive learning for me. Anyway, I was working there as a boilie. I was working with my TA there, and my TA wasn't sort of paying attention. Anyway, it was like a spaghetti junction with all pipes and stuff and whatnot.
Yep.
Anyway, I went to go and cut this redundant pipe, and next minute, boom, all this water came out.
Next minute.
All this bloody, but water came out and all that kind of stuff, and
Yeah. Was it hot water?
and it was no, it was just an old redundant water.
Oh, right.
Water.
Yeah. So it wasn't an active.
No, it wasn't an active thing. Anyway, the learnings out of that was, what if that pipe was an electric pipe? You know what I mean?
Mm.
So all these kind of things that it's all about learning, you know, trying to, once again, think in your mindset. And but obviously, ICAM and all this kind of stuff, and big investigation. The other side of it was mentally tough, because that was my first ever thing, you know, all the boys and sisters out there giving me shit, and fucking I'm taking it all on board, and oh man, but hey, once again, massive learning, you know, mentally and physically. So
what I'm trying to dive a bit deeper into that. What changed for you? What mentally things?
So what changed for me was at the end of the day, you got to slow the fuck down. You know what I mean?
Mm.
You got to slow down and really hone in on what you're doing. You know, you've got all these kind of things trying to bloody hurt you, like, you know, heat, flies, and all that kind of stuff. Because I was in that mind frame of, let's just get the fuck in there and try and, you know, smash the job out. And no, Terry.
Listen here, young whippersnapper. Slow it
down. And it was all those kind of stuff. So especially in the minds, you know, you can't have second chances, man. Really, you know, one little stupid thing like that could be disastrous. And that's what I try and tell everyone, you know, don't just slow down, man. I mean, but in saying that, how I see that is sometimes, like, my learnings was, you've still got your work ethic there, don't get me wrong. But people take the piss, you know what I mean? People try and like, no. We're not allowed to do this because of that. Well, try and find fucking other solutions, you know what I mean? Try and, that's another topic, but.
That's right. I did write down here crew. So when shit goes to shit and someone has an incident or someone does a thing, whatever it is, because there's lots of things that people can do that they shouldn't, or that cause controversy and drama among the crew. And like you say, the crew take the piss out of you, and then you don't live it down ever sometimes. Sometimes you don't, like if there's a pipe that's leaking and they'll go, oh, Terry, you've been over there again, you know, stuff like that. And it can go on for years. And so it's important to be able to firstly be aware that that's probably going to happen. It might just last a week or a few days until someone else does something, and then you're old news. Yeah. And so for my newbies who are listening, it's important to realize that just own it. You know, if you make a mistake or something happens or whatever, just know it's coming, and you're better off to just own it than try and weasel your way out of it, or deny shit, or hide it, or get upset, which I'm more on the upset mode. Like, oh, shit, I fucked up. Shouldn't have done that. Oh dear. But I've always owned up for my stuff too. You know,
absolutely.
Yeah. So that, I think is that something that made you think like that as well? Was that the first time something?
And I also flipped it around on the negative side too. I was sort of thinking like, oh fuck, this is gonna affect my job and all that kind of stuff. I'm gonna be on a window seat and all that kind of stuff, you know. So mentally, you're sort of getting smashed left, right, and center, you know. You're crying, and because I had a little bit of a cry there too, trying to share it with my wife, you know. I fucked up here, and you know, how can I deal with it and all that kind of stuff. So it's all these kind of different outcomes as well. You know, it's not just the people taking the piss out of you. It's mentally at home as well, and then how you're affecting the people out at home and outside of that bubble, you know. So it really broadens your mind, the spectrum. So
yeah, and also like you say, inside your own head as well. So you had your crew, you're thinking about your goals. Might be, you know, what about my goal? If I stuff that up now, you're thinking about your wife, and then you're thinking about all the stuff that your mind's just racing. Yeah. And then, so did you have time off? Because it's hard to concentrate and work when that happens as well.
Yeah, definitely. I was just fortunate there was another incident after that, you know. So it sort of relieved my little bit of incident.
That's exactly what I was saying. You're old news, Gary. We got more serious shit.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
dear.
there was another EWP. It crushed a massive handrail. And, yeah, once again. So, yeah, it was all those kind of learnings. I love the game.
So just talking about smashing handrails and stuff, have you ever had to fix, as a boilie, truck ladders and truck steps? From
absolutely.
Stupid operators who run into shit all the time. We just fixed that stairs.
I was going to say that, you know. But...
No, well, I know what you say. I've heard it. Always the operator's fault. We blame the workshop because the stairs were never upright and the thing fell down and, oh, God. Yeah. So you do.
Yeah, I've had plenty of those, you know. That's funny. Absolutely. From, stairs to even the operator, you know, calls us up on the radio. Oh, this thing, this one bolt is just loose a little bit, you know. Just tighten it up, and then we're out in the workshop like 20 k's away, and all that just to do a little bit of a bolt, you know.
But it depends what that bolt.
Well, hey, safety comes first.
That's all I'm going to say. As an operator, it depends what that bolt is holding. If that bolt, like over the years, I've had that many bloody issues with my mirrors. And you try backing in under a digger in a tight drop cut night shift into the lights, get in the right spot, or you're going to get the shit or hit by the digger. You know, a bit of a love tap with a bucket, which means move over. You're in the wrong spot.
Move over, yeah.
But if the bracket is coming off and the bloody boilermakers won't come out and fix it, or the workshop won't let the boilermakers come out and fix it, and you can see my hand going like this, but the mirror's wobbling, and you can't even see, and it's 3 o'clock in the morning, like, I need this mirror. I'm parking up till I get this mirror fixed. And they go, it's only one bolt on the fucking mirror. Yeah, but I'm going to have an incident down in that.
The other one. That's right. The aircon. What about the aircon? Have you had a few?
Yeah, well, of course.
Few broken down aircons.
Park them up.
That's another one, eh?
Park it up.
Yeah, park them up, you know.
Well, back to hydration and shit when it's really hot. And the opposite, when you're freezing your tits off in the winter, you know, like it gets down real cold, low digits, minuses out in the desert. And I remember in water cart one time, I hate water cart in the winter, night shift. And there was no flash drive up and push a button and the water cart fills up. It was, you know, line up under the poxy thing that hangs down, get down, go and turn on or sometimes you had to actually start the pump, which was this big animal that used to scare me. What buttons do I push? And then it burst into life. And then you've got to turn the like a steering wheel or a handle, or the pumpies have been in that day and they've changed everything over and you're trying to turn it, but no, you got to go the other way now. So I'm really trying to turn this handle to the right, but no, you got to go to the left because we're opening it a different way. Oh my God. Yeah, and it's 4 degrees. And you wonder why you want the bloody heater to work. Because I'm like, oh, I'm freezing here. Dear.
But
so I just
want to clarify something.
Okay, go.
I just want to clarify something. I forgot to mention the other number one thing too is people.
People.
You've got to get along with everyone. You have to, you know, because that's that's pretty much up there with the goal settings and all that kind of stuff too. Because I've had a few people anyway. How it works was I had a few boilermakers and talking to, didn't have respect for superintendents and all that kind of stuff. But what happened then? It affected them on a different mindset because that superintendent was manager,
Yeah, they move.
So what the role model, the moral of that story is, you've got to get along with anyone, man. You have to, because I've seen so many bridges get burnt. It's not funny because it's a small world out there, big industry, but the people are still the same, especially on like for example shutdowns and all that kind of stuff. You're continuously working with the same people, and I really hone on this, and all the companies know. I don't care anyway. This is what I always say to everyone. I don't give two fucks about the job, but the people. I always love the people because I know exactly what's happening there, because they'll always be there, But the job will always be there, but the people won't, because it's a small industry, and I wholeheartedly say that, it's really the people that do, not the bloody job, and that's
I agree, Terry. It as a people pleaser, me, because I'm nice and lovely and friendly and want to be friends with everyone. But when I have had the odd falling out, and I don't like it, but I don't think it's ever got to a point where someone's bound to message me and say, remember so and so. I don't know, but I've seen it with other people. Let's say where they've had big, massive arguments with a supervisor or someone on their crew or whatever, and gone, fuck this, I'm out of here. And then they've gone, I'm going, grass is greener over here, which is another podcast episode I've done. And they've gone to another site, and that guy is now the superintendent, like you say. And I've also seen the opposite. I was at this one band camp, and the old superintendent from one site rocked up, and he was now going to be a supervisor at this new site. And he saw me and he goes, hey, how you going? So who's here? Because a lot of people didn't like him. And I know of a couple of people that left. They're like, he's here. Fuck that. I'm out. I'm gone. So, and like you say, about burning the bridges. Yes. So I want to be friends with everyone, get on with everyone. But even if you just don't make enemies, and you can be civil enough with people, yes, be friendly and be mates and all of that. But if on big crews, it's not necessarily, I believe, possible to be really good friends with everyone, and everyone's going to like you. But you can still be civil. You can sit down, have a chat, have a coffee at the crew bar. You're doing your thing. We don't really have a lot in common. There's some people that are into fishing and pigging. Over here, the people that do pigging, and they want to show me photos of dead pigs, and I thought they shot them, but they don't shoot them. The dogs get them, and then they go and I'm like, no, I don't want to see that. I hate that. And they soon realize when I lose my shit, and I'm not a real animal liberationist or anything, but I just don't like yucky things. And then it got to a point where they'd all be standing around looking at a funny video on Facebook or something, especially the guys. I'm like, give us a look. Oh, no, Leanne. No, you don't want to see that. I'm like, no, I'm good. No, you don't want to see that. I'm like, okay, thank you. So they ended up respecting me that I had lines that I don't want, because you can't unsee some stuff, can you? And some of the things that people watch, I'm like, oh my God. So I guess that rant is about saying, I agree with you. It's about people, and especially when you're on a crew that is really good and everyone gets on well, and then whatever you have to do for your job becomes easier, happier. You get up, you want to go to work. You're there anyway, so you might as well find a way to want to go. You can't stay home.
But there's as you said, there's another side to it as well, because sometimes you've got to stay in your own lane
Mm-hmm.
In regards to what I'm trying to say here is like you've got so much small talk going on. You know, you might go, this bloke is shit, or this bloke is, you know,
Yep.
doing this,
Gossip.
and sometimes you just gotta just remember that, just stay in your own lane. That's all I gotta say, eh? And just be positive,
Oh,
and don't
I
forget
love.
those goals. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. So that's right. By being, by getting on with everyone, which is
Yep.
what you said. It doesn't mean join in every conversation, because
That's right.
the gossip and shit that goes on out there.
Oh,
I remember when I started, my
unreal.
mum said, "Well, you wait, Leanne, till you get out there. You think women gossip." I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
It's still, now I'm like, oh, really? It's hilarious. I just laugh now at it on the inside, you know, like, well, these guys, or you see something's unfolding, like, ooh, everyone's going to be going, well, who's, you know, who's going to do what
Yeah.
next? But I'm in, like you say, you're in your
That's
own
right.
lane, and I'm sitting at my,
You have to stick in your own lane.
that's it. I'm writing my goals, mate. You can go and bullshit about her or him and them or whatever's going on, or that supervisor or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. And that sort of comes back to my mind frame too. There's a lot of people wasting, you know, in regards to time as well.
Mm,
There's a lot of people wasters. So, but that's that's another
yeah.
little bit of a
Yeah.
thing. But
Oh,
people, get your head
well,
around people. You have to.
people. That's right. And you're going to have all sorts of people on your crew.
All sorts of.
And
Yep.
like you, if you go to all different sorts of crews, if you know,
Yep.
if you're going from mine site to mine site or construction site, or you move crews or whatever, so yeah, it's important to learn how you operate when you go into meeting new people.
New environment.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, exactly.
You have to. And another one is good communication there too. You have to speak up, man. Don't be that bloke that sits at the back of the you back of the chair in a meeting and or things like that. Get in the front and just learn as much as you can and just talk, bro. Regardless, there's no such thing as a stupid question, you know.
Until you
But there
ask
is.
it.
Absolutely.
Oh my
Until you
God.
do a stupid mistake, you know.
Yeah.
And that's true.
And that's where, for any supervisors and mine managers and superintendents who might happen to be listening to this podcast,
Yep.
when you stand up there and say, well, come on, everyone, there's no stupid question, and someone asks a question and you do nothing but belittle them and make them look and feel stupid, what does that make that question? It makes it look like a stupid question. So everyone's like, well, fuck man, I don't want that to happen to me. I'm not speaking up. So it's important for supervisors and people running meetings and that to be respectful of the question. It might be someone that doesn't know that answer. They wouldn't have asked, or they really want to know, or it's a question that they've been asking for ages that you still haven't answered yet, you know?
Yeah.
Rant over.
That comes out to experience too, you know. I think that's under their section 44 or something, or what course they ever do. I think that's in there, but anyway.
Well,
yeah.
there's lots of things in those, isn't there? And then you get out there and and you know, that's got a lot to do with what my sister Hard Hat Mentor talks about. She's about leadership and culture and you know, and all of that. So yeah. Yes. All right. Thinking of time, I've got a couple of lighter questions, a bit more lighthearted, if you're ready, or have you got anything else really deep and fundamental?
Let's talk about quickly about mental health. You've got to stay fit. You've got to stay healthy, especially mentally. Yeah, it's gonna mental health is a massive killer, to be honest, in the industry, you know. If you're down on anything, you've got massive support, bro. Don't be shy, don't be a hero, don't be a Jake the Must. Just ring up or tell one of the brothers or sisters, you know.
What was that? Sorry, what was that last thing you said? Don't be a what?
Don't be afraid to talk. Talk up, man.
No, before that, was it a dengue musk or something?
Oh, don't be Jake the Musk, you know.
Yeah, what's
Once
that?
Warriors.
I don't know that.
I haven't heard.
No.
Anyway, yeah.
Tell me, come on. Someone will be going, oh, Mad
Yeah,
Mumzie,
it's
come
a little
on.
movie if you've seen Once Warriors. It's a famous New Zealand
I
film.
have. Yes, I have.
Yeah, and
That's a bit of
there's
a
a
Nicky movie.
person called Jake the Musk there, and yeah, he's a bit of a tough bloke, like the old Chopper Reed, you know.
Ah, righto,
And
copy.
yeah, so that's what I'm trying to say. Don't be a tough bloke, you know.
Yes. Yeah, don't
Especially
be
mental
him.
health. You can't fuck around with mental health, man. If you need help, you need help, you know. Yeah, there's a lot of tough blokes and sisters out there too that, you know, think they're tough, but when you get back to their donga, there's a different. Sorry for laughing, but yeah, there's a different mentality altogether, hey, you know. So obviously you've got Beyond Blue, all these kind of things, you know, to help you. But the best thing is probably you yourself and I up here. And then obviously you've got your wife or your spouses or something like that, you know, talk to them.
And that's the thing,
yeah,
not everyone does have a spouse or a wife or a husband or a boyfriend or a family even. But that's where it's important to have what is your network. You know, I also like the idea of having someone on crew that you know that you can sit down after work, kick your boots off on the step of your donga, have a beer. Well, I'd have a beer, you'd have a water, and or a cuppa, and just have a bit of a defrag about the day, or a bit of chat about the weather, or how the fuck were those flies today, man, or just someone to defrag the day with a little bit. I think if you can find someone like that when you're out at work, or if you have had a bad day, or you know they have, that you've got someone that you know's got your back out there. But if you haven't got that, you need to know, like you say, the support systems. There's Mates in Mining now. There's Beyond Blue. Are You Okay? There's Lifeline. And, you know, I have reached out to some of these people over the years, and they're amazing. And if they can't help, they put you on to people that can. So, you know, there's a lot of people like you, like me, like my sister, Hard Hat Mentor, and a lot of even Finny Pete doing his podcast. There's Dan Hunt with his mental health movement, I think there's so many people now that are doing this sort of thing, and they make it really is okay to speak up and to talk to someone. And if you are struggling, you know, just a couple of days ago, someone in our network, young fella, committed suicide. And it just, the ripple effect is just horrendous. So mental health is huge, and we've got to watch out for each other as well, you know, which is why it's good to get to know people a bit, so you know when something's changed, and that you can have a bit of a chat at the side of the cribber or whatever. Hey bro, what's going on? Hey bro, did you like that? Did I get my Maori on? No.
Oh, you're a little bit 10%.
Yeah. So, all right, let's move on, shall we? Couple of things before we wrap up. I've got a few little questions that I ask people just randomly. So,
no worries.
And if you don't have any, it's fine. I just won't use it, because some people go, nope. I go, okay, I won't leave that in the podcast because it's just not. But it's just all good. So, how do you deal with night shift, and do you have any sleeping tips for people? How to switch off? How do you switch off, Terry? Might be day or night, you know. But...
Well, let's talk about shift change. Obviously, I don't drink. Now that is a big one, eh? You know, if you don't drink and stuff and whatnot. Well, let's go to my routine. So if I'm like, I don't know, say six o'clock, I'm just making figures up here. 6 o'clock to 6 o'clock. You know, 6 o'clock in the morning to 6 o'clock at night, and then I'll finish 6 o'clock at night. I'll try and stay up until about 10 o'clock when this is shift change. Try and stay up as late as I can, and then try and get up as early as I can, just so I'm tired for until the next day, the next morning. So that's my sort of theory, methodology about it, But yeah, that's basically it.
Do you listen to a meditation app or music, or put lavender on your pillow, or you don't need anything?
No,
you just worked hard and you shut your eyes and go to sleep.
Hard and try and think, and just basically go to sleep. I'll probably on the phone with my wife, easy an hour. If it's not my wife, it's my parents, another hour. So that's a couple of hours just there, let alone trying to do my other hustles on the side and stuff and whatnot. Like, for example, this, or, trying to, times really, it goes just like that when you're shift changing.
Yeah. But what about, have you done night shift before? Do you do night shift?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd say about, longest one I've done probably about 3 weeks, night shifts. It is definitely a, let's just call it a zombie mode. The zombie mode where you're just, you're just in the routine, and you think like back in the days when you were clubbing, when the sun sets and the sun rises in the morning, and it's man, I used to look at this when I was clubbing, Now
I'm getting paid to do it. Yeah, I can remember a few times being in a certain club, shall we say, and looking and like, that better not be daylight coming under the roller door, because we're having a good time. Exactly. I don't want to go home. And then and see, when I was on night shift, a lot of people would say, oh, when that sun starts coming up, that's when I start getting tired. And talk about mantras. You tell your brain that long enough, it's going to start going, oh, sun's coming up. Make sure you start getting tired. So I've always said the opposite. Sun's coming up, that's when I start to wake up, because it can be those last couple of hours driving and stuff, and that can be a struggle. The most I've done is 7 nights, and you just get in the routine, like you say, and it just feels like day by the end of it. Just feels like it's just that I never used to drink on night shift very often. Sometimes I did. If it's sometimes on a Sunday or something, they might have barbecue in the morning, brekkie, especially if it was someone's birthday. So I might pop over and have a couple of beers and then go to sleep. But cool.
That's a great question in regards to food as well. That's because obviously you're shift changing, and trying to how can I say, you're eating dinner, and then what do you eat at 12 or 1 o'clock? So sometimes I'll just have cereal then, and each to themselves, but
and I find I change too, and I can remember quite a few times at second crib at 2-3 o'clock in the morning, going, what the hell is this? What was I thinking? Because I got it at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. What made me think I'd want to eat this at 3 o'clock in the morning? So all right, what you've done lots of different rosters. What would be your favorite if you could choose and be just, this is my roster till I'm old, like all them old buggers out there?
2 and 2.
2 and 2?
2 and 2. Yeah, 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. probably that'll be
That's
the
fave.
best, because you have time. You have time off with family as well. You have that 2 weeks off. It gets a little bit slow, but yeah, 2 and 2 is the best option for me.
Cool. And
1-on-1 is a little bit
yeah,
hard, but
it goes fast, doesn't it? Really, and it can do.
yeah, it goes too
Yeah.
fast.
With the 2 weeks at work, would that be 1 day shift and 1 night shift, or 14 days?
14 days.
14 days.
As you said, you can shift change.
Yeah. Cool.
Really does matter, but you always look forward to the shift change, especially right now, with the sun. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Out there, especially on the trays and all that kind of stuff, burning wire all day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Bugger that. And it smells too. It smells.
Definitely.
So, what do you do with your old PPE? Do you have any old stuff, or do you wreck it all?
I'll try and do the best as I can. Try and reuse it, but just throw it out if it's thing, especially like obviously your earplugs and stuff and whatnot.
Yeah. Do you wear high vis shirts when you're mowing the lawn and shit, or fishing?
Yeah, that's a good one. I'm currently in high vis as we speak.
You are not. You
are. My pants and all that stuff. So I live and breathe the old high vis just because.
Okay.
Just because I love it,
What? So why? What? Really? It's comfy and you love it. It's not you. You are saving money.
Because you can be. No, it's not that. It's just if I want to go and grind something quickly or something like that, you always got it there, Or if you want to get dirty, mow the lawn, or I don't know, do some plumbing, or change some lights, or it's just it's the habit really. That's that's a great one, habit. Yeah, and it's you can just wreck it, you can, but as for a bloody, I don't know, $200-300 shirt or whatever, you don't want to be doing that.
yeah, that's it. So your old clothes are, if they're working around the house, clothes are your old work clothes. And a lot of people do that, but you'll be surprised to know that there's a lot of people who refuse to wear them when they're on break, because it reminds them of work. It reminds them of work. So you can understand that mentality as well. It's like, no, I'm not. Last thing I want to do is put on a pair of high vis anything, because I've just been wearing them for 2 weeks. So there's that. Yeah. It's interesting. I like to hear the different perspectives on that.
Absolutely.
So do you have anything to say about money and being a rich miner? And that mentality. Well, we kind of touched on that a bit earlier.
Yeah. It just comes back to the mind frame, of please, whatever you do, try and dig deep and try and just educate yourself. Like, for example, I never used to read books, to be honest, like until you sort of change your perspective in life in regards to try and better yourself. Anyway, just get books like Barefoot Investor and all that kind of stuff. Go out, man. It's only about, I don't know how much it is, about $30-40, Fuck your tight ass kind of if you can't afford that, You're only like $1,500, $2,000, but I think that you're investing in your life, man, I can't explain more than that. You've got to go, don't go right, like, deep. I've just got taught the basics, man. Just get to the basics and that's it. Move on,
Yeah.
It's always about the basics. Don't go too deep in where you're too, like, you're just sophisticated, mind is telling you, what if this, just get the basics, man.
Yeah.
That's all I say,
Love it. Thanks, Terry.
All good.
So, this is one of my last questions. What is your special place when life turns to shit? How do you, Terry, personally handle tough times? and what are your strategies to hang in there? What's your happy place, I guess?
Yeah, my happy place is at the beach. I currently got a dog. His name is Deagle. He's a beagle, or half beagle, half cavalier. Anyway, I take her for a walk, and that's sort of my zone of just blanking out. I don't give a shit about the whole earth, you know. I just walk my puppy and just blank off and really appreciate life, you know. And then also reviewing obviously my goals and what I actually always want in life, and just really honing in and appreciating life, you know, because you have to get into some kind of zone where you just have to blank off of everything and just try and reset your mind into what you wanna do, how you feel in life, you know. Because sometimes because when you're in the game, you're so. My mindset is, my experience is, it's a fast life, you know. It really is a fast life, this mining game, and the mining game takes your time just like that, you know. And sometimes you can't reflect back on life because it's just gone like that. So I keep telling them, people, time, man, your time is so precious in this world. I'm not trying. I'm not even a bloody spiritual bloke or anything like that, but it's true, man. Like when I actually started, you know, I started like 6-7 years ago. That time just went like that, boom. You know, I can't get that time back, you know. So sometimes I just zone in and think, man, you've got to appreciate life, eh? Why are you living and breathing the life, you know? It's all these kind of things. That's when you dig in deep and think to yourself, why? So that's my why, eh?
Oh my
yeah,
God.
why am I doing it?
I was nearly in tears then. Like, I feel like you're talking to me, man. Like, yeah. It's, yeah, I need.
You have to get into that zone,
You do. That was awesome. Thank you.
Otherwise,
yeah.
Life is too precious, you know. I'm not even a Christian or anything like that, you know, but Muslim or anything like that. It's just, that's my common sense, you know. That's my zone.
Yeah, they're your values and your beliefs.
Values, yeah.
Values.
Boom, bang.
Boom, drop the mic, Mad Mumzie.
Bang.
Hey, Terry, where can people get in touch with you? What's the best way for them if they need more Terry in their life?
No, the best place would be on FIFO Inspo, either on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube, or simply email me on fifo.inspo@gmail.com, or don't be shy to holler at me, you know. I'm always
beautiful.
Internet away, so
internet away. And as usual, I will leave the links to all of Terry's wonderful places on the show notes page, which will be madmumzie.com/beers75. So it's time to say goodbye now, I think, Terry. We could chat all day, and I have been known to. Is there anything else you would like to say to call this episode complete for you?
Just take care and stay safe out there. That's the main priority. Write your goals down, appreciate life, and she'll be right. You know, that's all I can say. And make sure you smile. You know what? Because it's for free, man. That's all. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Terry. Thanks for coming on the podcast, Terry. I really appreciate it.
No worries.
See ya.
All good. Anytime. See ya.